His story captured the world's attention back in 2003. Aron Ralston was hiking in Utah when his hand and forearm became pinned between a fallen boulder and a canyon wall. Yeah, that's a real picture of him there, with his arm trapped in the wall. After being trapped for 5 days in excruciating pain, Aron saved his own life by amputating his own arm. Now his compelling story of survival and self-discovery has been made into a new film starring James Franco entitled 127 Hours. And Aron Ralston is with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
The odds of something like this happening have to be one in incalculable, right?
Well, it does happen from time to time, but certainly for me, that day going out there, it was the last thing in my mind that I thought was happening. This was a walk in the park for me. So
right.
It was definitely a shock, as probably it was for people at home eating breakfast who just watched that on their televisions.
But this is a hop, skip, and a jump. As it's portrayed in the movie, you are so joyful. This is your element. You are a guy who is prepared for stuff. You know where you are. You know what the elements you're dealing with. As you're there and your arm is trapped, at least in the movie's account, you're really meticulously sort of taking stock of what needs to happen. Is that really what happened?
It was definitely a major part of what I was going through while I was there. I would say if I had to break it down, there were kind of two trains of thought happening at almost every moment. One was those logistics of the taking stock and problem solving, trying to figure out how to get out, how to keep myself alive, how to stay warm, what could I do to ration my very little water that I had, and ultimately to end up recycling that water. But then the other was the emotional aspect of what I was experiencing, that connecting me with my family, my loved ones. Part of the time I used my video camera that I would hold out in front of me and record myself saying my goodbyes to my parents, to my sister, to my closest friends.
To have this made into a motion picture was floating around for the longest time. You basically needed to say, I okay this. Why okay Danny Boyle? Why okay this version of this movie?
Because we shared a common vision for this, that what was important to me was the authenticity of my story being shared with people, that we also inspire audiences instead of using it maybe as a horror film or something that just would have perhaps left people in a hole. I wanted people to be uplifted with it, to have that hope in the end.
Because we're showing pictures of you going back to these very locations. You were on location, it said, at least once a week to make sure that was authentic.
Well, and it was also from their invitation that was the way that Danny made the film, was that he wanted my involvement. So it was a reassurance, too.
There is also then this aspect of the point at which you need to make this life and death decision of cutting off your own arm. In some of the screenings, people are actually becoming sick. Some people are crying.
I was crying.
How many times have you seen it?
Almost 10 times now at this point. And still, even like last night, I watched it, and I'm brought to a point, but they're tears of gratitude, really, because it's to be there watching it with my wife or with my mom, the closest people. Those are the people who that's why I got out of there, was because of the love that I have with them. And you see it in the film, too, these vignettes. And then in the end, there's a scene around a couch, and it's my actual family and my friends who are there supporting me as they did in my real life. And that was the power of love and the desire for freedom. And those two things put together are why I got out of there.
I don't know how anyone could say it any better than the way you just did. I will tell you that as you came in during the commercial break, I said, of the people I have wanted to meet in my life in the last 10 years, you're the #1 person on the list. And I really appreciate you coming by to share your story.
I appreciate it. I appreciate what Danny Boyle did to share this story with the world. So
it's a very, very powerful film. 127 Hours is the name of it. Aron Ralston, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet.